look, 6 months ago I could have been in a wheelchair and blind. So for me to even be here amongst the best players in the world and just enjoying it, the result is a bonus.
Yeah.
But just to be enjoying playing and being out there and competing and everything's in perspective, isn't it? There's far more important things in life than pool in the grand scheme of things, but at the same time, it's nice to be in the business end, and now I can just wait for these pair to battle it out, and hopefully it goes close and they give each other a scare, and then they turn up tonight and can't hit the ball. That'd be nice.
Yeah, absolutely. As you can see,
can pack that in for a start.
As you can see, Declan Brennan and Tom Jones underway. Decky rifling in a long red. I wanted to ask you about that actually, Jimmy, because we did the mixed pairs together a few weeks ago, and sort of asked you how things were going and all the rest of it. I know you've had a really rough year off the table, and you were saying actually, in recent times you've been able to have that little bit of time to get back into the game, start enjoying it again, which from your perspective was really important. And it must be incredibly satisfying to come to a tournament like this, which, we've been saying it all weekend, there's no hiding place. It's double elim, races to 12. Only the players playing the best pool are going to get to the deep stage of this tournament. So how satisfying is it to almost back yourself up in that way and go, I'm feeling well, I'm playing well, I'm confident. Oh, and here I am in a semi-final of probably the hardest tournament to win.
Yeah, very. I mean, obviously over a longer race, generally you find that the best players, the more consistent players come out on top. But I have been putting the hours in. I lost my job in October. And I just thought, well, I'm not in a desperate need to get back into work, just for the sake of having a job. For me, as you said, and you're quite right, I need to be happy in my environment. I've had jobs in the past where I've been earning, good money, but been miserable as sin and taking it home with me and being miserable and depressed. And of course, that can have a knock-on effect on your game. You've got to be happy with what you're doing. So, I've got the right sort of support around me. Now my health's getting better, as I mentioned yesterday. I'm kind of trying to get back into the gym and be a little bit fitter and sharper, which obviously helps. It's a slow burner, but I feel that I've put the hours in, and I can only thank everyone that I've been practicing with, and obviously the club here are amazing with me. They give me free time, and the people that have stuck by me through this difficult time. Not only that, my old man's missus has not been well, and it's just been a torrid year, really. It's just, the sooner it's over, the better. But it'd be nice to end it with a win. And
I was going to say,
there'll be a few beers. I'll listen back to all the commentary over the weekend. If you've been nice to me and I do happen to win, I'll buy you a beer.
I haven't done you one yet. Yeah, I haven't done you one yet. I'll be on your semi later on there, so make sure you listen out to that. Play well.
You need to rephrase that.
I knew what I meant.
But before the watershed.
Well, look, I'll ask you your opinion on this one before we get really into the meat and bones of it, as Declan Brennan breaks and runs the first frame. I know you've been spending some time up in McNamara's playing a little bit with Tom Jones. I know you know Decky well. This is you're going to be playing a mate in the semi-final, whatever happens here. But what do you make to this semi? Who do you like for it? Because these two have been playing each other all week.
Yeah.
And I know Decky's been getting the better. Tom Jones spoke about that, but it's not an easy game for Deck. This Tom has been playing brilliantly to be at this stage of the tournament.
Yeah, I think obviously, if you were betting man, you'd bet Decky, and I'm sure that Tom would be the first to say that as well. Decky's more experienced out there in that arena. He's been there and done it. He's won events. Tom, though, is extremely dangerous, as we all know. Doesn't care who he plays. He's got the right attitude, as in he believes he's the best, which I think you've got to have an element of that arrogance. So if Tom gets enough chances, he is more than capable of doing serious damage to absolutely any player. And we have been practicing a lot. Like I said, I've been up at McNamara's quite a bit, practicing with him and putting some hours in for his money matches and different things. And again, another player that I've got to give thanks to, because he's been keeping me sharp, and he's capable of winning this match. He just needs enough chances. He's just broke there and dry broke. He's hit him okay, but you've got to get enough chances to win. And if you do, and you take them, then you come out on top generally. So,
and he'll see you in the semi-final. I'm looking forward to that, Jimmy. Congratulations on a great run. Really pleased for you, mate. And we will see you later on. So we're going to let you get off and get yourself a bit of a breather ahead of that semi-final, which will be back later on this evening. Bring Cy Webb back into the commentary box in just a moment, as Declan Brennan once again is at the table, and he's played at the minute a flawless run, really, of a frame and a half. He's played great break and run in his first. He's developed his bad ball in the second, and this shot comes out nice, and it's okay. He's in business here for a 2-frame lead, as we welcome Sideweb back into the booth, and it's worth pointing out. It's half mentioned it in that exchange with Jimmy Sideweb. We'll focus fully on this match now. These two have been playing each other all week. Declan is over in England. He resides in Northern Ireland, of course. Over in England for the best part of a fortnight, really, because he's got this tournament this weekend. He's got a massive money match with Ian Alley coming up next weekend as well. So he's over for a good chunk of time. He's been spending a lot of that up at McNamara's club in the Northwest, where Tom Jones is sort of the resident top pro, really, and what a performance he's put in this weekend. These two have been throwing frames at each other all week. I spoke to Tom before he played his match here today earlier. I said, how's it been going? He said, well, Deck's been pumping me all week. So, you know, I don't think he's under any illusions here, is Tom Jones, that it's going to be very, very difficult. But I did say to him, I said, I bet Deck's thinking, though, this will be the one that I lose.
Well, that's the problem, yeah. I mean, it's such a strange dynamic. You're going out there, you know, because Deck will be fully aware of that as well. So if Tom can keep it close, keep it tight. I can
confirm he is.
Yeah. If Tom can keep it close and keep it tight, then all of a sudden those sort of strange thoughts creep into your mind. But right now, we can't get to the table.
Yeah, he's been shut out for the first two frames, and Deck has taken full advantage of that fact.
The way that Tom played yesterday, I expect him to play a really high level today. He's played brilliantly all weekend long, but his game has improved dramatically from where he was when he turned pro. He'll be the first to tell you that, and he worked hard to do that. He's going to have to be patient.
He's going to have to be very patient if Deck keeps breaking like this. His first break, Deck, actually wasn't particularly good. It was a hand-up sort of a break because he rode the middle pocket and sort of mishit it, really. That's exactly what he's looking to do. He couldn't have hit those much better. Cue ball is on the bottom rail, which is far from ideal, but you expect him to have some kind of shot here. He can go reds or yellows.
Red, right, centre, combination at the top of the table, and then that unlocks the frame. Straight after it. Yellows are a little bit awkward, so there's always going to be reds, but it comes down to this shot. I don't think he can play it in a clever way where he doesn't leave chance for Tom to take advantage. May not be a counter clearance, but he would be able to take advantage in the frame, you'd feel. So I feel he has to make this.
It reminds me a little of that combination shot he played in the winning frame of the World Masters a couple of years ago in Morocco. Had to play the ballsy combination early on in the frame. When he doesn't get it, and Tom is out of his seat like a rabbit on a greyhound track. He was jumping.
Itching to get going.
Yeah, he's played some amazing stuff this weekend, Tom Jones. Probably been the surprise package of the whole tournament, really. I mean, you could probably put Jimmy Croxton into that conversation as well, but Jimmy has been to a pro final before with Ultimate Pool. He's got that little bit more experience. For Tom to come in, and I mentioned it in the conversation with Jimmy there, into a tournament which, you know, by definition is probably the hardest tournament of the entire year to win. To come in and rumble through like he has is so impressive.
Yeah.
And it has come, probably at least to us, probably not to those who know Tom well, as a little bit out of the blue, but as we say, we've spoken to him a little bit this weekend, the pair of us, and we've got a bit of a sense for, you know, what he's been up to this year, and that we can see he's never off the table. He's putting in a lot of hours, but what he has been doing is he's been putting in smart hours. He's been learning, he's been working hard.
He's gone away, he's not just playing pool, he's gone away and tried to improve as a player. Oh, he's gone too far. He's gone too far. I was about to say he's worked on his cue ball and he's worked on his patterns, but he got his cue ball wrong there. Nothing wrong with the pattern. It was always going to be his last ball.
Yeah, he's really unlucky there.
A little bit rash with the way he played that. I wondered, it didn't look like a massive swerve where you got a chance to get it going towards the pocket, but probably felt it was and quickly just threw his arm at it.
I think he also knew that he was pretty much guaranteed to lose the frame.
Yeah,
even if
whichever,
he hits it.
Yeah, whichever way he goes, if you don't make it, you lose the frame. So he's trying to hit it solid and maybe make some sort of double from it. But, obviously that mistake aside, he's been playing brilliantly this weekend, but I've been saying whenever I've commentated on him over the last couple of years, from the challengers through to the pros, that he's got so much talent, but we'll start talking about him being a real threat and a real player when he starts making the game look easy. Well, he did that yesterday when we commentated on him. His patterns and cue ball were fantastic, and he didn't have to rely on the flamboyant big shots that he has up his sleeve.
Well, I remember when I first commentated on him, I did. He had a great run in the second iteration of the Ultimate Pool Masters, which was the Wednesday night tournament that we had. It was in group formats over the best part of a year, really. And I commentated on two of his matches alongside Mick Hill, and Mick was watching it, and it was like he couldn't really believe what he was seeing. He was in awe, because Tom was in the sort of mood where he was just fizzing about the table, and he was just playing like a rock star, playing that sort of brash brand of really flamboyant pool, and when it comes off, God, it looks good. But you can't maintain that level. It's so difficult, and that's what he's been working on. But the talent has always been there. I mean, it's quite funny. That was where Mick Hill christened him as the fifth Beatle.
Yeah, I remember it well.
And yeah, he went really well in that tournament, did Tom, and that sort of announced himself on the Ultimate Pool stage. He then went and won a Challenger event, got himself into the pros, and I think he's sort of seen the level. He's seen what all the best players do. I mean, he's been pretty vocal about the amount of respect he has for Tom Cousins, for example. He thinks he's the best player he's ever seen, and the way that Tom plays, what is so good about him is he makes the game easy.
Yeah, that's what he does. That's why, and that's what Tom Jones is aspiring to do. He actually made the quarterfinals of that Masters.
Did,
and he came up short in the end against Jimmy Croxton.
Did, I remember that match well. It was mad.
It was a mad match, yes.
And Tom will be sick with that. He hit one great break, and he came dry. This is a miss hit. He scratches straight in the corner pocket, and wouldn't you know it, he's rattled in 2 or 3 balls as well.
Cue ball in hand here. Just thinking that the red at the bottom of the table and the yellow together. Thought Declan would go reds here because that yellow doesn't pass, but you can get to the potting angle of the red. Declan likes yellows. I suppose the 8 ball, yeah, coming down to deal with this one straight away.
It's a lovely shot.
Now yellows are by far better, so yeah, good decision.
I think in the sort of event build-up to this event, if you'd have said before the tournament, pick your semi-finalists, I would imagine Tom Cousins. If we knew John McAllister was in form, John McAllister,
yeah.
Declan Brennan would have been right up at the top of the conversation, because they're elite players, and they're elite players who have an amazing ability to play well for long periods of time, but also to make few mistakes. But when they are making mistakes, they don't tend to lose many frames because of them.
Yeah, I agree. I think obviously Jimmy winning, beating Phil, but when Phil was ahead in that match, I was sort of talking to Tony about it. You got Tom Cousins, who's been the best player in the world and won 10 titles in the last 2.5 years, just on the pro circuit. You've got John McAllister, who's won 2 titles. He's right in the conversation for, second best player on the tour this year.
Yeah.
And then you got Phil Harrison, who won 2 titles at the back end of last year, 6th in the rankings. Absolutely what you expect from we go longer races. And then you've got potentially Declan Brennan coming through the bot. You kind of got, you throw. There's probably 2 or 3 other players on the tour that you'd throw in the mix that were in the tournament. There's a couple that couldn't make it, but they are the people you expect to come up in a race to 12. Obviously, Jimmy has bucked that trend by beating Phil, stealing it away from him. But
I think it's difficult to understate what a big win that is for Jimmy.
Huge.
He alluded to it in his interview. You in particular love to give him a really hard time because it's just good fun.
Yeah.
But it's a huge victory for him, because not only the fact that he's won to make a semi-final, but the fact he's knocked Phil Harrison, a player I know he respects so much, out of the tournament at this stage is massive, and he will feel confident against whoever he ends up playing here, whether it be Declan Brennan, who has raced into a 4-frame advantage, or whether it will be Tom Jones, who even at this early stage has to hit the comeback trail.
Yeah, I think it was Jimmy's first quarter-final of the year. In fact, obviously he's had a very down year simply because he's not been playing, and when he has been playing, he's been playing injured or without being able to see, essentially, with the issues he's had with his eyes. And he's barely had a win all year long on the tour, so to stand up and come and win the matches he's won and get through to a semi-final here, brilliant achievement for Jimmy Croxton. Cue ball in, so a chance for Tom Jones to get going. Just the one red to deal with. It's just when and how he's going to deal with it. That will do. It's made the 8-ball a little bit trickier though. Now doesn't have a pocket.
Tom will first and foremost just be pleased to be at the table. But the thing is, when he comes to the table 4-0 down and you feel already bang under it, puts a lot on each single visit. Could simply play underneath the 8-ball, but that feels like it's going to be a big time shot that he'd have to make.
Yeah, I think where he's gone here, I think he's probably going to have to do that. He's going to be guaranteed to be really good on it if he decides to play that. Double's available, or he could try and play into it. Controllable angle if he wants to play into it, but I think he can just drop behind this to the top right corner. Decision time.
He's played into it, and that has come up smelling of roses.
That was a big risk for me, a really big risk, but it's come out well.
Good finish in the end from Tom Jones. Well, we had the luxury actually. We were about to show you the line of the 8-ball into the middle pocket, ahead of that shot that we expected Tom to be taking on. And
he would have gone corner though.
Yeah, and that was it. It did look really tight. So when you've got that consideration, you've got to knock a really long ball straight into the top corner. Probably the better chance to try and move into it. Landing as good as he did though, little bit fortunate there. But Tom will think he's been due a bit of run. And he'll be feeling better, and all of a sudden, if he can break and run 4-2, he's looking pretty healthy in the game, so chance to regain a little bit here for Tom Jones. He rode that corner pocket again. Is he dry though?
Drop. No.
He is. Yeah, you can't feel too aggrieved when you were that close to going off. His first break, absolutely perfect. Didn't get a ball, but his last two have been pretty much both in the heart of that top right corner pocket. That one stayed up by hook or by crook.
What does Declan do here? Red and yellow together are awkward. Looks like he's going yellows.
I think you have to, just because of developing those two. There's no good red there to get into that red and yellow top left.
Well, the yellow doubles as well. So if worst was to happen, he can, the double isn't that bad. Yellow nearest the bottom left. I think he can clip this one along the bottom cushion though, which then pops off the red, might open up the pocket here.
Yeah, he'd have to play it now though, because the way that he's on the yellow to the centre, he's going away from the bottom of the table. So if he wants to play that shot, he pretty much has to play it now, and he's going to.
I think he's just turning the table over. Yeah, and that's also, good mental strength really. No need to push the boat out 4-1 up. He's taken out some nice finishes, but this is not a good layout on reds. Just wait for a better opportunity on yellows.
Oh, don't go straight and off. That's a poor one.
He's done the bit of the shot that he wanted though, which is to get the yellow awkward on the right hand side.
Yeah, he's focused so much on that he's just not thought about the cue ball, I don't think, there. Easy mistake to make, but it is a big one.
Declan's trying to get short position here, but it's not easy.
I think you can just squeeze this in. I don't think it's too bad, bizarrely. And that's why the foul was such a big one. If he hadn't have fouled and the cue ball stays up the top left corner of the table, then Declan's in a world of trouble then on that yellow.
Decided not to float that one in and use decided to float it in and not use the red. And he had an angle there where he could have gone into the yellow and red, and the reason he hasn't is because you'd be promoting the red up the table, potentially blocking the yellow at the top. So I think he's made his mind up that he likes the double. Unless he can screw back into it now, I think it will be the double. He wasn't trying to screw back into it. He was just trying to. The natural line was going towards the yellow at the top, so just had to widen it. So it will be the double, and essentially this is frame ball.
Missed it. Oh, that could be a turning point. That could be a turning point. These still need clearing for Tom Jones' mind. This isn't exactly a gimme of a finish. He's got 3 balls on rails, maybe even 4 if you want to be pedantic.
And the yellow's come back across and blocked off the red on the left-hand side for top left. So you are right, there is plenty of work here.
Love watching Tom play. I love his positivity. I love his attitude around the table. I love the way he takes players on, and so pleased in this tournament to see him almost sort of just make that little jump out of the pack, and just join the likes of, and there's plenty of them, players who can challenge to win events. I think we can now put him in that conversation. You don't get to the stage of this tournament without being able to do that.
What he's got to do now, though, I mean, obviously he could go and turn this one around, go on and win the tournament, but what he's got to do is play this shot first. He tried to make something happen, and it's going to cost him. He's got to just maintain what he's doing, what he's been doing on the practice table, what he's been doing to improve. He's not just playing pool; he's trying to get better. Don't let the results sway you. If you have in this game, it doesn't matter how well you play, you're going to have to take some losses along the way. So just keep doing what you're doing, keep improving, and the results will come, and the tournaments will come. Not the best of shots, that one from Declan.
Yeah, just a tricky pot here now. Cue ball. Oh, he must have judged that to absolute perfection.
First and foremost, it's a brilliant pop. How has the cue ball not gone in there?
Goodness me, he's judged that so well.
Yeah. Tom's going to leave the arena and just going to reset himself. A couple of chances for Declan in that one, not punished.
No surprise to him just take a minute out of the arena. 5-1 after the first 6 frames is less than ideal for the man they call Tommy Gunn. So just took a minute. Try and screw his head back on and almost reset, go again. It's a long enough race that you can do that. Race to 12, 4 frames down is by far away not the end of the world. But he needs to find a way to start chaining some frames together. It may not start here though.
Yeah, it's a tough chance this one for Declan. The yellow, no, he was trying to hit that red. The yellow that's nearest the left centre pocket is a problem. He's not actually on anything here.
Yeah, he may well be in a bit of bother here. Is it the plant?
No, he can get to the one just above the 8 ball, I think.
Oh yeah, good spot.
It's still the same ball that's a problem though. Awkward to get to. Can you really get into this to go straight into the red? Really let it spin. Yeah, good. Excellent shot. But now the angle's taking him away. Depending on the natural path of the cue ball here, it wouldn't shock me to see him take the double. If he takes the double, he could just pull the cue ball straight back and have an option. If he takes the cut in the middle, the cue ball's going up towards the red on the break line. That was the double. Very nice. Now he's in good shape. Unless that yellow goes in the middle, that's very short. Maybe he was playing for it top right corner. Must go in the middle the way he's played that. He did. Very nice. Another finish from the break for Declan here. To 1 halfway mark for Declan. Long time to go in the match. Very good start, and he's also been under the weather this weekend.
Yeah, not that you'd know.
No, on the table. He said I had a brief chat with him after he won last night, and he said it sort of almost helped him really because he was, wasn't. He was thinking more about how he was feeling than anything else. And sometimes that happens. It takes your mind off what you're doing out there. You kind of concentrate a little bit more on when you need to, and you don't get too worried about the scoreline or anything else because you haven't got the energy for any of that.
So Tom Jones needs a start. It's a much better break. He gets slightly slugged racked. He'll be so disappointed with that. That's tough. These ones just don't open up.
Yeah, it didn't even bounce into the front ball or anything. It just soft explosion. Didn't really do a lot.
Got 3 balls, haven't moved.
Yeah. But the fact that 3 balls haven't moved, it's left an awkward layout.
You say that. I don't think reds are bad.
just the 8 ball that would need to be moved, and then obviously work the one at the top. You're right, the reds aren't terrible, but looks like Declan's eyeing up the yellows. If this yellow goes, then yeah, it does from this angle. So, oh, did he hit the red first? 8 ball first? Yeah, we did.
Wow, that could be massive. Could be absolutely massive for Tom Jones, this.
What's amazing is he still made the pot.
And good of Declan there. You saw, I mean, referee Orich Terzko was all over it, but Declan called it on himself as well. Always like to see that.
Tommy can go reds here, and I really like reds. He's going to go yellows. I quite like the red at the top. Just come on down, and then they're all connected and nice and simple. He's going yellows. Yellows are easy as well. But, you know,
I was
yellows
going to
aren't
say,
terrible.
I think the yellows are particularly nice because that one left centre is such a nice ball for the 8 ball. You do all your work at the top.
Yeah,
as long as you're anywhere near that yellow to left centre, you're on the 8 ball.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, it's all very nice and connected, isn't it?
Declan, he's 6-1 up. He's made a mistake there with the foul. He won't be sweating too much. So in that sense, you know, it won't be a huge turning point for Declan. I don't think he's going to worry now about losing 5 in a row off a mistake like that. But I think it's a big moment for Tom in his match here, his personal match. He's not got started yet. And he was looking at being frozen out of the game where he's not got a chance to get in it, and all of a sudden it gets harder and harder to get in the game. Before you know it, it's all over.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is it is on Tom's break, so from Declan's perspective, he shouldn't be too bothered. He had a chance in it and it didn't happen. Move on, it's his break next.
Tom Jones pumps in an 8 ball, 6-2.
I think in longer matches, we talk about it a lot in the races to 7, but I think once we get to like 12s and beyond, you know, for the top players that break and clear and win their own breaks more than anyone else, I think it sort of holds true even more. You know, Chris Melling was always a good one for sort of, he can deal with an error on his opponent's break better than he can deal with an error on his own break. You know, that was an opportunity for Declan to steal a 3rd break of serve. Didn't happen. He's still 2 breaks of serve ahead. But now that he's gone straight in off and left a wide open chance, he could have the break stolen back, or one of them.
Well, that's a repeat of his first break in the match. And all the ones that have been the meat in the sandwich of those 2 breaks have been absolutely flawless. That one, though, was almost a carbon copy of his first break in the match, which didn't go in off, very nearly did, hit the same jaw. Tom Jones now with an opportunity.
It's actually not as good as I first thought. First shot's the key. He's going to play the plant and developing shot all in one here. Well, he hasn't developed. That tells us he's happy with this yellow into left centre. He's come a little bit past the straight. He would love to have been straight in.
So much so, do you give some credit to maybe working the bottom right one to come back across?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Then the yellow at the top becomes your last ball, but the 8 ball's wide open. You just got to kind of find which window you want.
Oh, disaster.
Well, why not play into, if he has to then play into it, why not play into it first shot? You can easily play underneath it again and play it into the middle, which I assumed is what he was trying to do. If you then try and move it, why not move it with the first shot where it was perfect for it with ball in hand?
Well, he's absolutely boiling in his seat there, Tom Jones. I didn't quite hear what he said. Whether I think he's annoyed at himself. I don't think he's frustrated at anything that's sort of happened to him, if you like. I think he feels like he's made a bad decision.
I'm confused by that visit. I really am. Sort of told us one story with the first shot and a second one with the second shot. Ultimately,
he's maybe second guessed himself a little bit.
Maybe
Sort of changed his mind. Sort of not on the shot, but leading into the shot, and made it a bit more difficult than it needed to be.
it's going to stop him from being able to get one of the breaks of serve back.
Yeah, and that's the thing that an early lead gives you. You know, for Declan Brennan in this scenario, it just gives you that buffer. It's not like you can afford to make mistakes all of a sudden because you have the buffer. You don't want to do that. But when you do make those mistakes, your opponent is under a lot of pressure to capitalise. Always so much easier to lead.
Yeah, you just try and take the majority of your chances, and you'd have to stress over the scoreline, whereas the scoreboard pressure starts to tell if you're behind. It feels like a long way at 5, but you just got to tell yourself it's 2 breaks to serve. And missed opportunity there, but move on. Find a break clearance and then get back to it. Cue ball was dangerous again.
I'll take that for a break though.
Awkward.
8 ball's tricky.
Yeah, and the yellow and red on the right hand side. He's made quite a few balls and it's awkward.
I wonder if you could potentially solve the yellow with, hear me out here, 3-ball plan?
Potentially.
If you get under the one he's playing now, so he's
Yeah.
not going to play that.
Yeah, I can see what you were saying. The problem is he's got 2 problems at opposite ends of the table, and if he deals with the 8-ball before he deals with the yellow, and he's got nowhere to go. Or does that yellow go top right? It doesn't look like it.
No, it does not.
Must do. The way he played that, it absolutely must do. You'd have played into it otherwise.
Oh yeah, heart the bag. No dramas. Love the way Tommy cues the ball. Cues it like he means it. Eight ball is still a challenge of a ball, but it's a fairly makeable double if you land nicely on it.
Yeah, try and get past level with the 8-ball here. Yeah, that's nice.
Now he'll fancy this. And it is an important shot in the match. Oh, and he's short. Just straightened on him. Plays that fraction less firm. It probably slides on in.
Yeah, agreed. It's just left it nice and open now for Declan. Would like to a few more rolls on that one. Middle pocket plays big here. He didn't want anything to do with it, so he sort of sacrificed perfect position just to make sure. Wobbles it in. It should be the frame for a 6 clear, third break of serve, or 3 breaks of serve in front.
It's been a very, very professional job so far from Declan Brennan, you have to say. He would have felt like he was on a bit of a hiding to nothing coming into this game. Mentioned the history these two have had just this last week. They've both been spending a lot of time on the table together. As Tom Jones has been Dec's practice buddy, and as Tom's been open about saying, Declan has got the better of those exchanges quite handsomely. And with that being said, Declan knows that he knows that between these two players, he knows he comes in as the favourite, and he's got to deliver.
He's almost got to put it out of his mind that and actually just play the table, play his chances, which he's done really well. You know, obviously, you're playing a race to 12, you're going to make the odd error, you're going to not get out the odd time, but by and large, he's been very clinical with his chances out there. Yellow underneath the cue ball now. Does it pass to the bottom left? I think so. Yeah, I think it's pretty clear. So there really isn't any issues here. A little bit short there. It's one of those you overdo it and you could not get on the ball you're after, so you sometimes just come up short because of it, and that's what's happened there. I'm sure the plan was go left centre and back down. Not really an issue though. Only thing to say is if he's thinking yellow right centre to get on the yellow above the 8 ball, the red plays quite big. He needs to be quite precise on his angle so he can drift past the right hand side of that red. If he goes past the left hand side, it's quite a narrow line towards the yellow. Margin of error will be small. Whereas if that yellow above the 8 ball was out the way, as in he'd landed straight on it, unmissable. Oh, that's perfect. Just off straight, where you can just use the pocket. Another one in the books for Declan Brennan. 7 in front. relentless.
Yeah, it has been relentless from Deck, hasn't it? And I go back again to that. I think it's been such a professional job. I really do. He's been so focused out there. Mistakes have been at a real minimum. He's just an elite player, and when you are that good and can focus, can concentrate, are tuned in, as I know he is, he's been playing an awful lot of late. He's going to be so hard to beat in this tournament. I mean, you look at the 4 semi-finalists, if this goes as we expect it to, now at 9-2. Tom Cousins, the #1 player in the world. John McAllister, absolutely elite, former world champion, 2 tournaments won this season. Declan Brennan, 4 finals already this season, looking for a 5th. Jimmy Croxton is the sort of well, literally the joker in the pack there, but it stands to reason that our 2 semi-finals and indeed the final are going to be pretty box office.
Yeah, and add into that as well, Declan, who's currently 4th in the rankings, if he was to go on and win the title, would jump up to #2. Obviously can't catch Tom. Tom's miles in front, but yeah, he would jump up to #2 in the rankings. I mentioned this statistic in the last match, but if Tom Cousins was to win the title, he would be about 25,000 ranking points in front, which is essentially top 4 level season in front.
I think it's more than a top 4 season, to be honest.
Well,
because you're looking at there's 4 series weekends. Say if by an amazing miracle you win 4 of those series events, you still wouldn't have enough points to overtake that.
The reason I said I think obviously you'd have to do the maths at the end of the year. I think come the end of the year, I think there'll be 4, maybe 5 players that have earned 25,000 ranking points this year, or thereabouts. That's why I'm saying I think it's top 4, which is ridiculous to be that far in front.
Yeah, it is. It is silly. You've got players like Declan, who have reached 4 finals, won an event. Players like John McAllister and Greg Waddingham, who've won 2 trophies this season. Tom Cousins is still miles out in front. Declan looking to get the job almost secured here. Oh, it stays up. He was just asking a little much of that ball.
Left himself a touch on the straight side and trying to spin it in with some side. Saw Tom just having a look to see if he goes bottom right and then plays the loss of turn. What's he leaving on? And he's going to play the loss of turn straight away. So cue ball in the bottom corner pocket. Is he leaving anything on? First glance, no. But has that red just popped open with the movement of that yellow? No, it didn't. So now open for Tom to potentially have a go. Yellow below the 8 ball's a problem. Yellow on the right hand side less so, because he's going to move it here. Just going to figure out how and when he wants to get on that one below the 8 ball. Going to move it. I'll try to.
Oh, has that just gone far enough?
I think so. It's not the full pocket, but I think it goes.
I could move it again if you wanted to. Could play underneath it if you wanted to. No, he's happy. He won't be happy with that positional shot though.
Yeah, if it is tight, then this makes it really more awkward because it's not in your eye line.
Yeah, if this is half a pocket, this is... Yeah, we'll see it here. This is half a pocket. This, when you're playing away from it, is tough. To make it look that way though.
Yeah, very nice.
Took all the drama out of it. Tommy Jones, good clearance, 9-3. Shade over 28 minutes remaining, still plenty of time on the watch. Somebody's starting to run out of opportunities on the scoreboard.
Yeah, he needs the quick burst, doesn't he? 2, 3, 4, just trying to get back in the match, make Declan think. 6 behind. Long way to claw it back as we get deeper and closer to the end of the match. Good break, really good chance now for Declan. Go either colour set here. Doesn't really have a nice opener on yellows, I don't think. Although I think yellows are a better set. So it's going to be reds. He could have gone maybe the long straight, just off straight yellow to the bottom left corner. It might have been on, and then you've got the plant, and then you're away. The reds all go as well. And your red is away from the rest, is the one at the bottom, but that's not really a problem ball. Easy access to it. That's okay as well. Drop the one in left centre and straight in top right. He's going to go up the table first. Saying that because I thought it allows him to come down the right hand side to get on the 8-ball bottom left. And he's going to use the one over the middle to get on the 8-ball. Which will have to be right centre, you would feel.
It's been ruthless, this, from Declan. It was ruthless from Tom. It was ruthless from John. It's been ruthless from Dec. Between them, they are the 3 pick-em favourites for me heading into this semi-final list. If Jimmy Croxton does it from here, it is perhaps the greatest tournament win we've ever seen with Ultimate Pool. And I don't say that to do Jimmy a disservice. I'm just trying to highlight how big a result that would be. Because right now you've got 3 of the absolute best players in the world playing in a format that suits them down to the ground, and they are all playing brilliantly.
Agreed. What separates is that Declan, you just feel, can do this for a long time. So can Tom, so can John. They just keep doing this. They're not doing anything that's out the norm for them. It's break, make a ball, find the pattern. Break, make a ball, find the pattern. Just on repeat. They're not singing the cue ball around the table. They're not fizzing it around. They're not doing anything outrageous. Simple patterns and cue ball control to match. feel like Tom's break's not been quite as explosive as it was yesterday. Congested layout. He's going to try and pick them apart here on the yellows. They actually all have pockets. He's just trying to connect them together. It's actually a better layout than it looks. Possibly just move the 8-ball 2 rolls too far. If he stops it, well, it's still probably going to end up being the same way. The plan was leave himself in a position where he could go right centre, bottom right corner, jump on the 8-ball, which I'm sure he'll still do it that way. He's annoyed with himself because he wanted to come back a little bit more. I mean, he's always going right centre before the one bottom corner, but now he's going close to the 8-ball because he's got to go high. He's still fine. He can just drop this in.
Yeah, just has to kill it with kindness. Soft touch. Oh, he's done the other way. That's nice.
Declan Brennan's break. We need to break.
Huge. Again. Once again for Declan, it's just about finding the route, finding the puzzle, finding the pattern.
And that is the hard work done. It was the only thing that could really go wrong for Declan, you felt. That's nice.
got to keep fighting till the end. You never know, but Tom just hasn't had enough chances in this match. Yes, he's let a couple get away, but it's just not enough. Declan's played too well. Too many chances. Could have left this one till last, but decided to get it out of the way, which makes sense. Just slightly worried he was going to run too far, and he sort of has. That's why I thought he might leave that other one till last, but it didn't make sense if he could have got across to straight in bottom left and can make it controllable. Now it's a stretch and it's thin. Cue ball's running wild. Cue ball's running wild. It's going to be fine. He's going to be on the 8 ball, no problem. And it goes. So all you need to do, Tom, is do that 7 more times in the next 18.5 minutes. Without Declan having an opportunity, because the mood that Declan's in, he's not giving away much.
Frame 70, Declan Brennan's break. Leading left frame.
Well, there's a bit more work in this one. Just came across it, see the spots on the cue board, just come across it a little bit more than previous, but still power there. A little cluster bottom right. Makes it awkward. Could go reds, but I think they could get messy quickly. So just going to pull back. Just not letting him get sucked into big lead and just, wow, I can throw my cue arm at anything. Still got to do the right things. Well, that's sort of spoilt Declan's plan of using the yellow he just moved to break out the other one. But hasn't really opened up the reds for Tom. You know that Tom's going to chase here because he's so far behind and he can't let the match clock become a factor. Haven't seen too many frames like this for the majority of the match.
No, it's been wide open.
Yeah.
Right when Declan Brennan can see the finish line, he's been held up. I have a feeling Tom's not going to die wondering here.
He can't though, can he? He's got to try and find, even if it's a miracle clearance, he's got to do it, and he's got to do it quickly.
Give it a good go.
Tom might, that might have just given Declan half a mind to have a, controlled go at this.
Yeah, I think he can, because I think he can play yellow off yellow in the bottom right to open things up.
But he could float. I was thinking he could float the one in top left and not do any damage if it doesn't work, because it's a tough shot, obviously. It's going the other way, though. He's been very mentally strong here.
Well, do you know that big game he's going to have next weekend, race to 12, will feel like child's play, really. It's good. It's a good practice for him. It's a great shot from Tommy to make the red, but he's still got work to do.
This time he goes and it doesn't work, so red off yellow here. It's not guaranteed, even if he gets it, to pop the red into play, because it could knock the red left, and he's quite straight on it to get back across. So he tried to power into it. That's not worked at all. Now Declan can just plot his route to victory, his route to Jimmy Croxton.
And it's rare you'd ever be so excited for a meeting with Jimmy Croxton. But I'm sure Dec will be pretty pleased about this one. And that's that. Declan Brennan completes the job against Tom Jones, who fought valiantly, but that early lead was just maintained really from Declan all the way through. And a strong performance from the Northern Irishman carries him into the semi-finals. Brilliant run from Tom Jones as he ends his pro season in style. And this trophy will be getting handed out tonight. It will be either Tom Cousins or John McAllister, either Jimmy Croxton or Declan Brennan that makes the final. Those semis are set.